Imagine being in an interview, and it's your final interview. You've already made it through 3 or 4 interviews, you're sitting down, and you're pretty sure at this point you're going to get an offer. And you're sitting across from the hiring manager, and the hiring manager says to you, Ben, we want to hire you. We think you're great, your skills are in great alignment, but before we do, I want to let you know just a few quick things. I don't know if it's going to be a big issue or not, but I feel I should tell you. Our company culture is actually terrible. The expectations for this job, unreasonable, and you are not going to like it here. That being said, we'd like to offer you the job. That never happens. Most of the time, when you're interviewing with a company, they want to put their best foot forward, and they're not going to tell you the things that might be wrong with the company or the role. If you want to find that out, you're going to have to find it out yourself. So today, we are going to talk about reference checks. No, not them doing reference checks for you, but you doing reference checks for the company. Let's go. Hi, I'm Ben White with Ben Talks Talent. I have 11 years experience in recruiting, talent acquisition, hiring, team building, and I am passionate about using my knowledge to help you become the best candidate possible and land your next job. Today we're going to talk about reference checks that you can do on organizations and the background research that I would consider to be absolutely critical before you contemplate accepting an offer. But before we do that, real quick, do me a huge favor, take 3 seconds and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. It is incredibly motivating for me to see when people do that, and it motivates me to continue making these videos. So if you enjoy them, please do that. Now, interviewing is, it's a two-way street, right? That is a common phrase. People say, well, Ben, interviews are a two-way street. That is true. But did you know that reference checks can often be a two-way street as well if you do them right? Companies are going to do reference checks on you. Not all of them, but a good deal of them will. They'll ask you for 2 to 3 to 4 people who they can get in touch with to ask about your prior experience. And it's a good way for them to learn a little bit more about you through a different medium. But why should they be the only ones allowed to do that? You should also be allowed to do that. And today I'm going to show you why and how. The first thing that I would recommend you doing is you need to go onto Glassdoor. If you are considering joining a new company and you do not go to Glassdoor just to check out their rating and what people have said about them, you are making a massive mistake. So tip number 1, this is the easiest tip, it's gonna be the most obvious tip, but if you don't go to Glassdoor and at least look to see what people are saying about an organization, you are making a massive mistake. Now, here's the fun part. I want to talk about the second reference check type thing you can do as a candidate, and that is reach out to old employees via LinkedIn. So this is something that many people aren't comfortable doing, but it is a worthwhile exercise, and I'm going to tell you how. So the first thing you want to do is go to that search bar up at LinkedIn, right? And you want to type in the company name. Say the company name is Untitled Talent, right? Type that in and click on it. Below, a bunch of stuff will open up, company page, some people who have worked with there, but right below the search bar, there'll be a bunch of bubbles with things you can actually click. People, posts, jobs, all that kind of stuff. But if you go all the way to the right, there's an additional filter. Click on that filter, and on the right of your screen, a bunch of things will pop up that will help you further filter out your results. And then I want you to go down and click previous company. And click on the company, Untitled Talent, or whatever company you're interviewing with, and what it'll show you is people who no longer work for that company, but who used to. Then, when you click that, a bunch of people will come up who are your second degree connections. What I want you to do is send a connection request to 4 or 5 of them. And right in that body, don't just leave it blank, but right in there, hi, we're second connections. I'm actually applying at a company you used to work at. I would love to get 5 minutes of your time to kind of pick your brain on them. If you don't feel comfortable saying that it's you, say, hey, a colleague of mine is actually interviewing with one of your previous employers, and I'd love to get your thoughts on them, or a friend of mine, something like that. If you can be direct and say it's you, I think they're more inclined to answer, but send out 4 or 5 of them. A few of those people should respond, ask to do a quick call, and when they say yes, call them and say, hey, what was it like working for this company? What was the culture like? How were promotions given out? How were training and advancement opportunities allocated? Ask them whatever you need to know so that you feel comfortable accepting or not accepting the role. That right there is how you do a reference check on a company you are interviewing with. The last thing I do want to say there is don't just talk to one person. We all know people who have left a company and are bitter and might not give a fair account of working for what that company is like. So that's why I would advocate setting out 4 or 5 of them and talking to 2 or 3 people. These don't have to be long conversations. This isn't a gargantuan undertaking. It takes 3 minutes to sort, find those people, send out a few requests, copy and paste the message, get a few of them on, talk to them for 5 minutes, and get a general idea of what working for that company would be like. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is talking to people who are currently with the company. So this is a current employee reference check. This is what I would do. I would talk to the hiring manager. You want to be deep in the process, but deep enough in so that you can tell they're very interested in hiring you and you have some leverage here. And I'd go, hey, it was really great talking to you. I feel like I've learned a lot about the organization, but one of the things that I always like to do before I make a career move is I like to spend some time getting to know some of the people who are going to be on my future team in an informal setting. Just kind of a quick one-on-one conversation. How can we go about making this happen? And ask your future boss or your future potential boss if you can talk to 2 or 3 people on the team, one-on-one, quick conversation. This is if they haven't given you that opportunity already. But if they haven't given you that opportunity, go ahead and ask for it. So 2 things. Whenever I give people this advice, they say 1 or 2 things. They go, wow, Ben, that's brilliant. I will absolutely do it. Or they say, well, Ben, what if they don't want to let me do that? Well, if they don't want to let you do that, that is a red flag alert. But they should, right? If they're truly interested in you as a candidate, they want to bring you on board. I've been there. When you really want to hire someone, if they ask you for something like this, you are going to say yes. So if you have a realistic chance at landing this role and they want to hire you and they have nothing to hide, that's a key. They should be okay with that. Now, I want to take it one step further. What if you do this and you ask them the question and they go, no, we're just, Ben, they're really busy. Right now isn't a good time. What do you do? Well, you could be okay with that. You could call and talk to some former employees and find out how you feel about the organization. Or you could take the nuclear option. I've started adding these in the videos because people seem to like the nuclear option tip. But the tip there is to go, okay, I totally understand. And then find them through LinkedIn and reach out and go, hey, I'm interviewing with your company. I wanted to hear from someone who currently works for the organization, just to hear what your experience is like. I'm sure you're busy, but it would be huge if you could take just a few minutes and chat with me about your company. So 2 more things. If you feel comfortable doing this, I might recommend doing it with somebody who isn't a part of the direct team, just because they might then tell the boss that you did that. And if they told you, hey, we don't have time for this, and you do it, that's going to be bad. So that's the first thing. So the second thing is just reach out to somebody who's a part of the organization who's not in that department, right? If you're applying for an accounting role, talk to somebody in sales, talk to somebody in engineering, and just reach out and be like, I just want to find out what working for the company like, what's working for the culture is like. Taking a career move, leaving one place and going to another place, that is a risk. There's always a risk associated with it. And anybody who has moved from a good job to another job and that job is not so good, they know just how detrimental that can be to your career and the gravity that comes with that. So I'm always a big fan of doing your due diligence, doing your research, and making sure you're not unwillingly stepping into a bad situation. So look on Glassdoor, use LinkedIn to find a few people who used to work for the organization and no longer do, and then ask to talk to a few of the people on your team. You should be able to do all of those things, and the information you gain will be huge from it. So there you go. I hope you found those tips helpful. Again, if you're still here, you're still listening, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Good luck in your next interview. You've got this.